In this episode, we talk about the latest notification by the Maharashtra government that led activist Manoj Jarange Patil to call off his protest. We also give an update about the Gyanvapi Mosque case. But first, we talk about the controversy around the Chandigarh mayor polls. Hi, I am Niharika Nanda, and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. The election for the post of mayor in Chandigarh, which concluded on Tuesday, saw the first tie-up among two of the India Bloc parties, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. The two had allied to defeat the BJP for the post and were pretty confident that they would win. However, after a total of 8 votes were considered invalid, it was the BJP's candidate who ended up winning the seat. Since then, both AAP and the Congress have been staging protests and calling the election a complete fraud.
आज चंडीगढ़ यूथ कांग्रेस की टीम ने जवाब मांगने गए थे मेयर साहब से कि जो आपने लोकतंत्र की हत्या की है इसके कहने पे गए डरो मत जवाब दो सब डरे बैठे बीजेपी वाले सब डर के छुप के अंदर बैठे पोस्ट लगा के याद.
To find out more about the elections and what transpired during the polls, my colleague Shashank Bhargava speaks to Indian Express's Hina Rohatki.
Hina, tell us, why was the Congress-AAP alliance initially confident that they would be able to win this election?
In fact, the Congress-AAP alliance, they had hoped for an easy win. Rather, they were pretty confident, considering the numbers they had in the House. In the sense that Congress and AAP together, they had 20 votes, while BJP had 14 councillors, plus 1 vote is that of the Member of Parliament, Kiran Kher, who is the BJP MP, because she's the ex-officio member of the House. So considering the arithmetic, they were completely confident that we're going to make it, because 20 and 15, it was very clear. And at the same time, Congress and AAP leaders, they'd managed to keep their flock together, their councillors, and all of them were intact. So they were pretty sure. However, the results were certainly a setback for them.
Right. So why is it that despite their arithmetic, despite the calculations, it was the BJP candidate, Manoj Sankar, who ended up winning?
So what happened when the counting began? Basically, the counting was done by the presiding authority, and who is a nominated councillor. He was nominated as the presiding authority. So of all the votes, he declared 8 votes invalid. 8 votes is it's a huge number, because 25% total votes that were polled were 36. And of the 36 votes, 8 votes were declared invalid. And it was also announced that 16 votes have gone in favor of the BJP candidate and 12 votes were in favor of AAP candidate. So the opposition, however, alleged that the nominated councillor, the presiding authority basically, Anil Masi, is, they allege that it is outrightly seen that he's scribbling on the ballot papers and invalidating those ballot papers himself. A charge which definitely Masi has denied. He says that he signs in that way, to which they are alleging that no, he is invalidating the ballot papers himself. So because all that they've got to say is that, it's not the first time that we are voting and that we do not know how to kind of, stamp there, or it's not that we don't know how to vote. So how can such a huge number be declared invalid? But yes, as per the process, they were declared invalid, and that's what led to BJP's win.
Right, and how have the leaders from these two parties reacted to this? Talk about some of the statements that we've heard.
Okay, so soon after, the results were declared, definitely there were widespread protests by the councillors here. And then we had reactions coming in from almost leaders from across the nation. So like Delhi Chief Minister and AAP Supremo Arvind Kejriwal, he termed and called the result dishonest. He said that the results were really worrying. He says that, the manner in which cheating has been done in daylight, it was extremely worrying.
अगर किसी एजेंट को कोई आपत्ति करनी हो भाई ये वोट इनवैलिड है तो वो सबको दिखाया जाता है. अगर कोई एजेंट कहता है ये वोट इनवैलिड है, सबको दिखाया जाता है, सब उस पे अपने अपने तर्क देते हैं और प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर अपनी उस पे रूलिंग देता है. इन महाशय ने, जो इनके पदाधिकारी बीजेपी के आदमी थे, प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर थे, इन्होंने आज किसी एजेंट को अपने पास नहीं आने दिया. इन्होंने सारे एजेंट्स को दूर धकेल दिया और खुद ही सारी वोट लेके बैठ गए और बकायदा कैमरे के अंदर दिखाई दे रहा है कि किस तरह से वोट जो हमारे वोट थे उनके ऊपर वो टिक मार्क करके उसको इनवैलिड, मतलब 2 टिक मार्क लग गए तो ये वोट इनवैलिड हो जाएगा। वो टिक मार्क करके इनवैलिड करते जा रहे हैं और फिर नीचे साइन कर रहे हैं। कुछ वोट पे मात्र साइन कर रहे हैं और कुछ वोट पे एक टिक मार्क और लगा रहे हैं। वो साफ साफ वीडियो में दिखाई दे रहा है। तो 36 वोट पड़ने थे।
Then at the same time, Congress leader Pawan Bansal as well, he alleged that everything was done in a very premeditated manner and that the presiding authority was kind of informed that, you have to announce BJP as the winner. Then at the same time, now we have reactions pouring in from Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and AAP leader Raghav Chadha. They even held a conference here.
कि कैसे भाजपा के इस पदाधिकारी ने, जो प्रिसाइडिंग अफसर था आज के चुनाव का, उसने अपने पेन से बैलेट पेपर पर इंक लगाकर उस सारे बैलेट पेपर को इनवैलिड किया और फिर चुनावों की गिनती में, वोटिंग में, वोट काउंटिंग में उस एक बैलेट पेपर को इलीगल घोषित किया। पहली बार चंडीगढ़।
And Hina, we also understand that this election was actually postponed. Could you talk about the reason behind that?
Yeah, so the initial election date was January 18. And usually the mayoral polls, because a mayor has a 1-year term in Chandigarh, usually the mayoral polls, they take place around this date only. And when the councillors reached the venue that time, the opposition basically, when the AAP and Congress councillors reached the venue, they were informed through an official message on the group saying that kindly do not reach the venue because the presiding authority, Anil Masih again, has taken ill. And he has to be rushed. So, we request you not to reach the venue. But what the AAP and Congress alleged that no, it was BJP who was trying to kind of, buy some time, and they intentionally were trying to orchestrate the entire thing because they knew that they are going to lose. At the same time, BJP denied that charge, saying that how do we know? Because any person can fall ill any moment. And what happened was that soon after this, just within few hours, the opposition moved the Punjab and Haryana High Court, saying that the elections were deferred and this is unconstitutional. So the Punjab Haryana High Court then, asked the Chandigarh administration, who in turn replied that they had this one reason that the presiding officer had fallen ill, and the other one that they kind of assumed that there's going to be law and order problem as well because of the issue. So that's how things transpired. And after that, the High Court had directed the administration, when the administration gave the fresh date that now the elections would be held on February 6th. That is when the High Court intervened and said that no, hold the polls on January 30.
And considering it was the first tie-up among the India bloc constituents, what do you think this win means for the BJP?
Well, the mayoral results, I feel that they have certainly given a major boost to BJP. These polls had actually turned into very high-stake polls, considering the alliance of AAP and Congress that was to begin from Chandigarh. If you recall that, there was a statement by AAP leader Raghav Chadha in Delhi that the alliance to contest the BJP is going to begin from Chandigarh. And that's how things took place. So BJP is, yes, they're feeling very confident. And definitely it's a kind of dampener for the alliance, because despite having the numbers, they could not make it.
And do you think this has the potential to affect the India bloc alliance in the region?
So as I said that, the results are certainly a dampener for Congress as well as AAP, because both the parties were pretty confident that they would win this election. And now after the results, their morale is really hit. The victory here could have boosted the morale of kind of cadres of both the parties. And given the shaky ground on which the Congress-AAP alliance rests in Punjab and Haryana, I feel that a failure to win the mayor seat could be probably a deal breaker for many in both parties, in both the states, who are reluctant to join hands. But at the same time, then there's another thing that, the leaders now, after the results yesterday, the leaders in the states are on anonymity sharing that they're alleging that probably this could be the way the election, BJP would win other elections as well. So it's high time that we unite. So it's not certain as of now, but yes, the results have been quite a dampener.
And Hina, the other thing is that, these elections are very local. But why do you think that despite that, the Chandigarh mayor polls have been making so much news over the years?
So Chandigarh mayor polls have become a very keen contest ever since AAP entered the civic body structure in the city in December 2021 elections. So there were these civic polls and AAP was the budding candidate in that. So those results in the sense that, where BJP's seat share was reduced to 12 from 20, the one it had in 2016, while AAP, the budding party that took the majority seat share with 14 seats. Since then, it's just been a battle between the two. And every year, because we have the mayor elections scheduled in January, so it's always been BJP versus AAP.
And next we talk about the demand for a Maratha Quota. For months, activist Manoj Jarange Patil has been on a hunger strike, demanding Kunbi certificates for all Marathas. Kunbi is an agrarian community and falls under the other backward classes category. Now on Saturday, Patil finally withdrew his agitation after the Maharashtra government's Social Justice Department included a specific term in a draft notification aimed at expanding the scope of the OBC certification. While the notification has diffused tension within the Maratha community, it has also instilled fear among those eligible under the other backward classes that this change could result in a reduction of their reservation allocation. In this segment, Indian Express's Alok Deshpande joins us to talk about this development. Alok, we understand that the Marathas have been demanding reservation in jobs and educational institutions for decades now. But the protest led by Manoj Jarange Patil started sometime last year. So talk about what the focus of that has been.
Okay, so that entire agitation was started demanding Kunbi status to Marathas from Marathwada area of Maharashtra. That area is a very interesting area because that was the only area of Maharashtra which was under the Nizam rule. It was not under the British rule. And since it was under the Nizam rule, the protesters are claiming that the records do not have the mention of word Kunbi in front of documents of Marathas. And because of that, they are not getting the Kunbi. That is, Kunbi is a caste within the OBCs. And they are not getting the Kunbi certificate. Ultimately, they are not being recognized as OBCs. And that's why Manoj Jarange Patil has started this agitation. What has happened is, during the course of agitation, Jarange Patil said that a Marathi word Sage Soire, which actually means people within the family tree, should be included in whatever the government's new act or notification the government is going to make. Last week, the government which issued that gazette notification, the draft mentions the word Sage Soire. And that's why the protesters are saying that this is their victory.
Right. And Alok, can you explain to us what does this term Sage Soire mean and what makes it so significant to this issue?
If we see the notification, the government has given definition of word Sage Soire. I'll just read out that definition. The definition says the term Sage Soire includes relatives of applicant's father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and in earlier generations, forming out of marriages. This will include relations forming out of marriages within the same caste. So now the interesting part is, as we know, the caste of a child in India is decided based on his father's caste in majority of times. Now, this notification draft interestingly mentions that but the Sage Soire shall be considered among the relatives from the patriarchal relatives as well as the relations forming out of marriages, and proof being given to prove that marriage is within the same caste. The Kunbi caste certificate shall be issued after field inquiry. Now this as well as the relations forming out of marriages is a very interesting term that they have mentioned. So the girl from the Kunbi certificate, if she marries to family of Marathas which does not have Kunbi certificate, that will benefit the boy's family also, is what is interpreted. But of course, this is just a draft. We are not sure whether it will stand the legal scrutiny or not, or whether it will open the Pandora's box and there will be further repercussions of this. And the Marathas think that they have won. OBCs think this has violated the constitutional, many laws and legal acts. So it will be challenged in the court. So this is the important.
Right. And tell us, what reactions has this notification prompted from the ruling government of CM Eknath Shinde?
Politically speaking, the Shiv Sena led by Eknath Shinde is claiming victory. They're saying that it is only this government led by Shinde which has given justice to Marathas by giving what they want. The other two allies in the government, BJP and NCP, they're very cautious. Cautious in a sense, Devendra Fadnavis, after this notification was issued, was quick to say that this notification does not harm the reservation of OBCs and OBCs need not worry. He went on to say that this has only simplified the process of giving Kunbi, that is OBC certificates, and only those with evidences and proofs will get the OBC or Kunbi certificate. NCP, on the other hand, is led by Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar is considered as a Maratha leader. The party has only congratulated Maratha community officially. There is no other reaction from the party. On the contrary, one of its leaders, Chhagan Bhujbal, who's a minister in Maharashtra government, is protesting against his own government's decision of issuing this notification. So it is a very interesting situation where the minister himself, who's a very senior minister and former deputy CM of Maharashtra, is unhappy over his own government's decision.
And how would you say the OBC community and leaders like Chhagan Bhujbal are reacting to this recent development?
So OBCs are not against Maratha reservation. They are against giving reservation to Marathas from OBC category, which they fear that it will reduce their quota. So since Manoj Jarange Patil started his agitation in September last year, the demand has been to recognize Marathas as Kunbis. Kunbis are part of OBCs. So once Marathas are recognized as Kunbis, they become OBCs, and that will reduce the existing OBC quota. The OBC population will have to share it with Marathas. That is the problem. And Mr. Bhujbal is against this notification. He does not want this notification to go ahead. He thinks that this will affect the 27% reservation of OBCs in Maharashtra. And the OBC community is of the opinion that Maratha should be given the reservation, but they should be given in a separate category. And for that, even if it goes above 50%, they should be given by going above 50%, but should not be included into the OBC category. And this is the reason why even the BJP is very cautious while handling this issue. OBCs are considered as one of the vote banks of BJP. BJP does not want to hurt them, especially ahead of 2024 general elections, which are slated in next 2 months. And it's going to be a very cautious and very tricky situation for all political parties in the state, because they cannot harm OBC's interest, and also they cannot afford to harm interest of Marathas.
And Alok, have we heard anything from the opposition camp regarding what Eknath Shinde has said?
First of all, opposition has said that this government has not given justice either to Marathas or to OBCs, because the notification, according to opposition, has not added any new value to the already existing rules and regulations. It has only reiterated what has been already said. So the opposition is saying that government is fooling with Marathas and also with the OBCs. Congress has strongly mentioned about their reservations about the government's actions. The Sharad Pawar faction is yet to make a very detailed representation on this. Uddhav Thackeray too hasn't said much about this. Raj Thackeray, on the contrary, he congratulated Maratha community, but in a sarcastic mode he said that the Maratha should ask CM when the actual reservation will be given. This is how the situation is right now in case of opposition.
Right. And Alok, this of course is just a draft notification. What all can we expect going forward?
So the government has sought suggestions and objections till February 16. All OBC leaders or Maratha leaders have appealed to their respective workers to submit their suggestions and objections here. So there will be lakhs of letters that will be coming. So after 16th of February, there will be review of all suggestions, objections on this. After that, a final notification will be issued. OBCs have already said that they will go to the court. So the final notification, whenever it is issued, and it is most likely in March, will be challenged in the court. Then there will be legal battle. So it's not that everything is sorted for Marathas. It's a long legal battle ahead. And in addition to that, there are going to be elections where code of conduct will be issued. In case and when the code of conduct is issued, no government can make new decisions regarding reservation. So I think the entire election period will go to see the final outcome of this.
And in the end, we give a quick update on the Gyanvapi Mosque case. Yesterday, the Varanasi District Court allowed prayers to take place in the southern cellar of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex. The order, passed by District Judge A.K. Vishwesha, states that the puja will be conducted by a priest named by the Kashi Vishwanath Trust and the plaintiffs, and that the arrangements for barricading the area should be made within 7 days. The latest order comes 6 days after the ASI survey report of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex was made public. The report revealed that a Hindu temple existed prior to the construction of the existing structure. The mosque was built in 1669 during the reign of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, and the Hindu petitioners have claimed that he ordered the demolition of the pre-existing Vishweshwar temple at the site, replacing it with the mosque. Earlier this week, we had a talk about this report and the extent to which it will affect the Gyanvapi Mosque case. You can find the link to it in today's show notes. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by Shashank, Bhargava and me, Niharika, Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.